India is one of the most fascinating countries on the planet. With over 1.4 billion inhabitants, it is home to one of the world's largest populations and boasts a level of cultural, religious, and linguistic diversity that few places can match. Traveling through India is like traversing several countries at once. Within just a few kilometers, the landscape can change completely. Sprawling metropolises filled with skyscrapers give way to small villages where life seems to have remained virtually unchanged for centuries. The day begins very early for millions of Indians. Even before sunrise, markets are being set up, vendors arrange fruits and vegetables, farmers head to the fields, and temples begin to welcome their first visitors. In many cities, the sounds of prayers mingle with the noise of buses, motorcycles, and trains transporting millions of people every day. Family plays a central role in Indian society. In many regions, multiple generations live under the same roof. Grandparents, parents, children, and grandchildren share a home, splitting expenses, responsibilities, and traditions. The elderly are deeply respected and often participate in the family's most important decisions. Despite rapid modernization, a large portion of the population still lives in rural areas. Approximately two-thirds of Indians depend directly or indirectly on agriculture. Rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, and various spices are among the main crops. During harvest season, entire families work together in the fields, often using techniques passed down through generations. In major cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, and Chennai, the daily routine is completely different. Modern skyscrapers share space with historic buildings, while technology hubs coexist with centuries-old traditional markets. India has become a global powerhouse in information technology, engineering, and software development, employing millions of highly skilled professionals. However, this modernization exists alongside immense social challenges. In the same city, luxury-gated communities may be located right next to extremely impoverished neighborhoods. This inequality is part of the daily reality for millions of people and represents one of the country's greatest challenges. Transportation also reveals the intensity of life in India. Trains are considered the country's backbone. Every day, millions of passengers use the vast railway network to commute to work or school or to visit family. Some journeys can last more than 2 days, crossing through different states and cultures. On the streets, motorcycles, bicycles, rickshaws, buses, cars, and pedestrians share the same space in traffic that appears chaotic to many foreigners. Yet, for those who live there is an inherent order based on experience and constant adaptation. Food is another striking aspect of life in India. Each state has its own recipes, signature ingredients, and unique culinary traditions. Rice is a staple in the south, while wheat appears more frequently in the north. Lentils, vegetables, spices, and various types of bread are part of most families' daily diet. Spices play a fundamental role in Indian cuisine. Turmeric, cardamom, cumin, ginger, chili, coriander, and cinnamon are used to create intense flavors and unmistakable aromas. Many families still prepare their own spice blends, known as masalas. Religion influences virtually every aspect of daily life. India is the birthplace of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism, and is also home to large Muslim, Christian, and other religious communities. Religious festivals take place throughout the year, transforming entire cities into spectacular displays of color, music, and celebration. Clothing also reflects this cultural diversity. While many people in large cities wear Western-style clothing, in many regions it is still common to see women wearing colorful saris and men dressed in traditional attire adapted to the hot climate. Despite social, cultural, and economic differences, a strong sense of community exists in many regions. Neighbors often help one another during weddings, religious festivals, funerals, and emergencies, keeping alive a tradition of cooperation that spans generations. It is precisely this blend of ancient tradition and rapid development that makes India one of the most unique countries in the world. Every street, city, and village tells a different story, revealing a society that preserves its roots while striving to build the future. As the sun rises over the Ganges River, millions of people have already begun their daily routines. In holy cities like Varanasi, men, women, and children walk to the riverbanks to perform ritual baths, an act considered a form of spiritual purification. At the same time, fishermen cast their nets, merchants open small stalls, and the first trains arrive at stations carrying thousands of passengers. It is a perfect portrait of India, spirituality and daily life unfolding side by side. For a large part of the population, work begins early. In rural areas, farmers head to the fields before the intense heat takes hold of the day. Agriculture remains one of the country's primary sources of income, employing hundreds of millions of people. Crops such as rice, wheat, cotton, sugarcane, tea, and various spices supply both the domestic market and export sectors. Many farms have been in the same family for generations. Knowledge of land cultivation is passed down from parents to children, preserving traditional techniques while new technologies are gradually incorporated. In some regions, modern tractors share the landscape with oxen used for plowing, illustrating how the old and the new coexist. In the cities, the pace is entirely different. Millions of people work in offices, banks, hospitals, universities, and technology companies. Bengaluru, known as the Silicon Valley of India, has become one of the world's major technology hubs. Companies specializing in software, artificial intelligence, and digital development employ highly skilled professionals who collaborate with firms across the globe. Beyond technology, the service sector drives a significant portion of the economy. Restaurants, hotels, transportation, retail, and tourism provide employment for millions of Indians. The country is also home to one of the world's largest film industries, Bollywood. Hundreds of movies are produced annually, influencing popular culture not only in India but in many other countries as well. However, not everyone enjoys the same opportunities. Many workers operate in the so-called informal sector, selling food on the streets, driving rickshaws, sewing clothes, repairing equipment, or offering small-scale services. For these families, daily income depends directly on street activity and the number of customers served. Education is considered one of the most important paths to a better life. The government has significantly expanded access to schools in recent decades, and millions of children attend basic education daily. Even so, challenges such as social inequality, infrastructure issues, and disparities between urban and rural areas still affect the quality of education in some regions. Indian students often devote many hours to their studies. Competition to enter top universities is extremely intense. Institutions such as the Indian Institutes of Technology, known as IITs, are internationally recognized and produce engineers, scientists, and researchers who work for leading companies around the world. The coexistence of tradition and modernity is also evident within the home. In many households, grandparents tell ancient stories while grandchildren use smartphones, shop online, and attend virtual classes. Access to technology has grown rapidly, and India has become one of the largest mobile internet markets on the planet. Despite this progress, many families still maintain customs passed down over centuries. Before meals, for instance, it is common to thank the gods for the food. In some homes, everyone eats while sitting on the floor, using their hands to bring food to their mouths, a traditional practice that is part of the local culture. Weddings remain one of the most important events in social life. Many celebrations last several days and bring together hundreds of guests. Music, dance, colorful clothing, and elaborate meals transform these ceremonies into true festivals. Although marriages based on personal choice are becoming more common, there are still families who play an active role in selecting a partner. Another striking aspect is the immense linguistic diversity. India is home to hundreds of languages and dialects. Hindi is the most widely spoken language, but English also plays an important role in public administration, business, and higher education. Furthermore, each state has its own official languages, reflecting the country's impressive cultural diversity. Religious festivals hold a special place in people's lives. During Diwali, known as the Festival of Lights, homes and streets are illuminated by thousands of small lamps and candles. During Holi, people of all ages celebrate by throwing colored powders at one another, symbolizing joy, renewal, and unity. In India, spirituality is present in virtually every moment of life. Before leaving for work, many offer a brief prayer at a small home altar. Shopkeepers light incense in their stores to pray for prosperity, drivers decorate their vehicles with sacred images, and entire families regularly visit temples. For millions of Indians, religion and daily life are inseparable. Hinduism is the predominant religion, followed by Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Jainism. This coexistence of different beliefs makes India one of the most religiously diverse countries on the planet. In many cities, one can hear, simultaneously, the ringing of Hindu temple bells, the call to prayer from mosques, church hymns, and ceremonies from Sikh temples. One of the most sacred sites is the Ganges River. For Hindus, its waters represent spiritual purification. Every day, thousands of people bathe in the river, believing the act cleanses them of sin and brings them closer to the divine. The banks of the Ganges are also the setting for religious ceremonies, cremations, and major festivals that draw pilgrims from across India. Religious festivals completely transform the country. During Diwali, known as the Festival of Lights, Homes, streets, and temples are adorned with millions of tiny lights and candles. Fireworks illuminate the sky as families exchange gifts and share special meals. The celebration symbolizes the victory of light over darkness and good over evil. Another world-famous festival is Holi, the Festival of Colors. During this celebration, people of all ages gather in the streets to throw colored powders at one another, dance, and sing. The event represents renewal, equality, and joy, leaving cities covered in an explosion of vibrant colors. Indian culture is also renowned for the richness of its music and dance. Each region boasts its own unique styles, many of which have been preserved for centuries. Traditional instruments such as the tabla and sitar continue to be used in cultural performances and religious ceremonies. At the same time, pop music and modern cinema are winning over millions of fans among the youth. Speaking of cinema, Bollywood is much more than just entertainment. The Indian film industry produces hundreds of movies every year, blending romance, action, drama, and comedy. These productions often feature grand musical numbers and elaborate choreography, becoming a vital part of the country's cultural identity. However, it is not all celebration. India faces enormous challenges. Population growth puts pressure on housing, transportation, education, and public services. Major cities grapple with heavy traffic congestion, air pollution, and water supply issues in certain regions. Another challenge is economic inequality. While a segment of the population works for multinational companies, lives in modern residential complexes, and has access to top universities, millions of people still live with limited resources, relying on informal jobs to support their families. Government bodies and private initiatives are striving to narrow this gap through social programs, education, and job creation. Environmental concerns are also significant. Rising population levels and industrialization have had a major impact on rivers, forests, and air quality. In recent years, the government has invested in solar energy projects, the expansion of clean electricity, and environmental conservation, seeking to strike a balance between economic growth and sustainability. Despite these difficulties, India's economy continues to grow rapidly. The country has become a global leader in technology, space research, pharmaceutical production, and digital innovation. Indian companies develop software used worldwide, while scientists participate in major international research projects. The youth represent one of India's greatest strengths. With an exceptionally young population, millions of students dream of building careers in engineering, medicine, science, entrepreneurship, and technology. Universities and research centers are receiving increasing investment to prepare this new generation. Women are also making significant strides across various fields. Today they hold leadership positions in companies, universities, hospitals, governments, and international organizations. Although challenges regarding equal opportunity persist in some regions, women's participation is steadily growing and contributing to profound social transformations. Perhaps the most striking aspect of India is precisely its ability to unite extremes. As the sun sets over India, millions of people wrap up another day of work, study, and socializing. In major cities, offices slowly empty out while the streets remain bustling. Small vendors set up food stalls, families stroll through night markets, and temples welcome worshippers back for evening prayers. Even after nightfall, life remains vibrant, revealing the boundless energy of a country that seems never to stop. In many households, dinner is the most important part of the day. It is a time when parents, children, and grandparents gather to talk, share stories, and strengthen family bonds. The meal is usually simple yet flavorful, consisting of rice, traditional breads like chapati or naan, vegetables, lentils, curry, and various spice blends. In some regions, meat consumption is limited due to religious traditions, while in others, it is a regular part of the diet. Hospitality is deeply rooted in Indian culture. Welcoming a visitor is considered an honor. Many families immediately offer tea, fruit, or a meal as a gesture of respect and generosity. There is an ancient principle known as Ati Devo Bhava, meaning the guest is like a god, which reflects the importance placed on hospitality and respect for others. India's youth play a pivotal role in the country's transformation. Every year, millions of young people enter the workforce, bringing with them fresh ideas, technological skills, and an entrepreneurial spirit. Many dream of founding innovative companies, working for multinationals, or developing solutions that can improve the lives of millions. The growth of Indian startups is impressing the world. Cities such as Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune, and Gurugram have become hubs of innovation, attracting international investment and fostering a new generation of entrepreneurs. Ride-hailing apps, digital payment platforms, and companies specializing in artificial intelligence and e-commerce are all part of India's new economy. At the same time, millions of people continue to preserve customs that span centuries. Artisans produce handmade textiles, sculptors work on temples, farmers utilize knowledge passed down by their ancestors, and musicians keep unique cultural traditions alive. This balance between innovation and cultural preservation is one of India's greatest assets. Another sector that inspires national pride is space exploration. The Indian Space Research Organization, known as ISRO, has carried out missions that have placed the country among the planet's leading space powers. Satellites, lunar probes, and Mars missions demonstrate that India is increasingly investing in science, technology, and education. Medicine is also evolving rapidly. Modern hospitals coexist with traditional practices such as Ayurveda, a medical system developed thousands of years ago that is still used by millions of people. Many Indians combine modern treatments with traditional practices, once again showing how the old and the new coexist in their culture. However, the country still faces significant challenges. Urban growth demands constant investment in public transport, sanitation, housing, healthcare, and education. Environmental preservation has also become a priority, as rivers, forests, and natural areas come under pressure from population growth and economic activity. Even in the face of these difficulties, there is a strong sense of hope. Millions of families believe that education is the key to providing a better life for future generations. Parents make great sacrifices to ensure their children attend good schools and have opportunities they themselves never had. Diversity remains one of India's greatest strengths. Hundreds of languages, thousands of traditions, various religions, regional cuisines, and ways of life coexist within a single country. This variety makes India a true mosaic of cultures, where each state possesses its own distinct identity while remaining part of the same nation. For first-time visitors to India, everything can seem intense. The sound of horns, the aroma of spices, the bustling market crowds, the colorful festivals, and the constant blend of modernity and tradition. Yet, for those who live there, this intensity is part of daily life and embodies the very essence of the country. India is far more than just its famous monuments such as the Taj Mahal. It is a place where millions of stories unfold every day, stories of farmers, teachers, scientists, fishermen, merchants, students, and workers who helped build one of the oldest and most influential civilizations in human history.